Hi, it's me, Luke, and we're gonna record this episode now about drifting.
It's Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, episode 67.
Yeah, me and my friend Lil Bow Wow, we're gonna be drifting.
Yeah, I'm excited though. Not so bad. I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, you want to talk about Han? He's a new important character
He's a new
in the
important character.
Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah. He gone but not forgotten.
We gonna talk about Return of Diesel.
Turning Diesel. Yeah.
Diesel's back.
Diesel's back.
All right, hey, no, it's me, Daniel Ehrenberg, your host, and
Hey.
Who else is here?
Who else we got? This is Hank Papali over here on the GSP. Welcome to episode 67. I don't think anyone else is here this week, is there? We have a secret guest somewhere.
No,
Or was that Lucas Black at the beginning?
It's just me, Lucas Black.
Wow. We'll talk about him.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm a big fan. All right, hey, you want to get right into it?
Sure, dude.
Let's do it, baby. Fast and the
Yeah.
Furious, Tokyo Drift, the weirdest entry in the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah.
Hey, here he comes. New director, Henry, and he'll be with us through the sixth one.
I see that.
Yeah, he did 4 of these babies in a row.
Yeah.
And that is Asian sensation Justin Lin.
Yeah. I saw his. Well, I guess it's his second movie, but the one that broke him out there a little. I saw that in the theater. Better Luck Tomorrow.
Better Luck Tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Better Luck Tomorrow. I hated it.
It's not bad.
I didn't like it. I thought it was really trying really hard. One of those movies that's really trying so hard to be cool.
Well, I agree, but
Yeah.
it was. I think he made it almost as like a calling card. So like people saw like, hey, this guy can put action sequences together. It's pretty
Right.
cool.
So
Let's
he
give him the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah.
And now this is what this guy does. Justin Lin, he's a franchise boy.
Well, I really loved the last Star Trek movie. So
Really? I thought it was
Yeah.
okay.
I loved the first one,
Yeah, me too.
and the second one was a big letdown.
Yeah.
And then I thought the third one was right back to the excitement of the first one.
I thought the third one was somewhere in the middle there between
Yeah.
the 1 and 2 qualities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really dug it. I thought it was really cool. I liked it a lot. So,
But listen,
and this guy also had the.
I'm a fan of Justin Lin. You know that. When Justin Lin was announced to be on the Star Trek movie, I was like, give this guy a chance.
Right.
You were not excited.
Well, I had nothing to base it on, really. I mean, I hadn't seen any of the Fast and the Furious movies, and I didn't like Better Luck Tomorrow, so I didn't care. And he had the misfortune of directing a couple episodes of the horrible second season of True Detective.
Oh, yeah. The first 2 episodes.
Right, and now for you, he directed some Community.
That's right. So that's what I love him from.
Right, I was just going to say, there's nothing else you would have loved him from.
No, but he did these Community episodes. I was obsessed with Community, so I watched the director's commentaries on those episodes and stuff.
Yeah.
And he his episodes, they specifically assigned him episodes where he can stretch his action muscles a little bit. So there was one episode about chicken fingers, and it was a Goodfellas satire. And he shot these Goodfellas scenes perfectly. It looked like Scorsese on a fucking Community budget.
Yeah.
And then he did this episode called Modern Warfare. That's one of the best episodes of Community. That is just it's a paintball war at the.
Oh, you made me.
I
watch
forced
that
you
one.
to watch that, and
Yeah.
say what you will about the show, but the episode looks incredible. It's
Yeah.
it's a great in an episode of Community.
Yeah, I don't remember what it looked like. I just didn't care for the episode, but that was just my taste. I didn't really care for the show, so it's
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. But this is a guy, a young Justin Lin. I think he's got a lot of talent, and I think we haven't seen the best of him yet.
That's possible. I mean, I thought Star Trek showed a lot of promise. And, spoiler alert, I like this Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
Just getting
Let's
it out
talk
there
about
right.
it.
It's too, let's just go, we're going into it. So I'm going to tell you right now, it was my favorite one so far.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
All right. Let's listen.
Yeah.
It's a weird movie for the franchise because, on the one hand, it's so disconnected from the rest of the series. It introduces one character, Han, that is in other movies,
Right.
but it's totally divorced from the franchise. It takes place somewhere between the 6th and 7th movies. And
Yeah.
I mean, but it's oddly important too, because it's the first Justin Lin one, and he does the next 3 as well. And it's the first one written by this fella Chris Morgan, who is now the regular Fast and Furious writer. He's written every one of these movies since the 3rd one.
Oh, all of them. Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
we're kind of setting up our regular creative team with this odd aside in the franchise.
Now, of course, I mean, they didn't know this at the time, so that, of course, brings me to when we get to the plot and all that, once we go, I guess, through the stats or whatever, but just to establish, if they didn't know that all this was going to happen later, then none of this shit would matter, right? But, then it looks to me as though they incorporated this later.
I think the series became so successful that they had to justify Tokyo Drift as being a movie that's part of this series.
Mm-hmm. Why not? Why not just make it Fast and Furious 3 as supposed and chronological? Why do all this stuff that would make it non-linear? Why decide that?
Because I think, I mean, look, it's odd, but
Yeah.
I do think Fast and the Furious movies develop a mythology
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you have to do it. I think Justin Lin likes the actor who plays Han.
Yes,
I think
Right.
he was also in Better Luck Tomorrow.
I think he was. Yes,
And-
Sung Kang.
Yeah, and so he brought that guy back in the 4th one, and he dies in the 3rd one. And so to justify that actor being in like the 4th, 5th, and 6th movies, he has to make the 3rd one appear later.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Diesel at the end of this movie. So it's established that Han knows Diesel.
Right. Right.
It's very weird.
It is weird.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
But listen, let's talk about this movie on the terms that it was released in.
Sure, of course.
Because I remember when this movie came out at the time, it was sort of like, well, what are they doing now? They're making the Fast and the Furious franchise sort of an anthology of series of just movies about cars.
I don't remember when this came out at all. Yeah. At all.
I remember when it was in theaters and stuff. I thought it was funny. I thought the name Tokyo Drift was really silly, which it is.
Yes.
And I remember the trailers for it made such a big deal out of the drifting. Like, look how fucking cool is this?
Oh, really? They did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
I mean, I didn't know drifting was such a big thing, other than that I did it and continue to do it a lot when I drive. So I didn't know there was a movie made about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
You were
how
like Lucas. You were like Lucas Black. You
Yeah,
weren't
but
sure what it is.
but I was very good at it. You know, I find parking spaces. That's how I pull into them. You know, that's how I try. Yeah, that's how I take U-turns. I do a lot of drifting there.
Henry,
so,
do they call you DK?
Yeah, they.
Are you the Drift King of New Jersey?
Well, at the time, I would have been the Drift King of Pittsburgh. There's a lot of parallel parking that had to be done. So
okay.
Yeah. But yeah. So that's I didn't know about it until drifting.
So Chris Morgan, this fellow,
Yeah.
he's written a lot of stuff. His only successful shit has been Fast and the Furious movies.
Certainly looks that way.
But he keeps nailing these Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, I'm looking at him, and I've seen nothing this guy did. Yeah,
I
nothing.
mean, I remember when that TV show Gang Related came out. They really promoted that, like from the writer of the Fast and Furious films, and I just didn't care at all. I mean,
he
who
did
could
that.
Possibly care.
He did that Kim Basinger Cellular. You remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I do remember that. I think I tried to watch that on TV once, and I didn't make it far.
Yeah. Cell phones. Thriller. Success.
Well, yeah, it was sort of like Phone Booth.
Yeah. Yeah, but at least Phone Booth involved like a phone booth, and phone booths have been around for 150 years. This is
No,
one of
I
those.
know. It was like trying to capture the zeitgeist of the
Right.
time in like a thriller. You know what it was actually more like? Remember that movie Paparazzi?
I vaguely, yeah, right.
Paparazzi. It's scary.
Never. We've talked about this before, but it's been easier to talk about because it was like in Die Hard 2, I think, with like fax machines and stuff. Never try to capture the zeitgeist of something that is still evolving and that or any educated person should know is still evolving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like there's that horror movie Fear.com.
Right, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
you could make a movie about a toaster because those are probably, those have been around for a while now and are going to stay the same.
Yeah.
But I
Don't try to make a horror movie about a fidget spinner.
And you know what? I was listening to NPR yesterday, of course, and don't try to make a movie about a refrigerator because I learned that refrigerators there are some that are connected to the internet and monitor what you're eating and can be hacked into.
It's
So
true.
stay away from scary refrigerators.
That's true.
Unless you're Ghostbusters in 1984. That's different.
There's also the Sabbath fridge
What's
that,
that?
Jews have it, and the light doesn't turn on right away. So during the Sabbath, you're not wasting electricity. You're
Is that right?
not. Yeah.
Do they hire someone to come over and turn it on though? Because I know that's a thing.
No. It's
Yeah, because that was a thing.
it's automatic. It's specifically made for Jews.
Right. No,
so-
I get it, but I get it. Yes. No, I know what the Sabbath is, but I know that you can pay someone to come over and turn your light switches on because you're not supposed to.
Oh, right. No, but this shit is designed, baby. There's also elevators that only work on the Sabbath. Like only work. I don't remember. Like they run automatically on the Sabbath.
Right.
So you don't have to press buttons.
So
you don't have to press
jump
buttons.
in and catch it.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a movie right there, The Elevator That Doesn't Stop.
Yeah. Okay.
It's called Which Floor? Yeah.
That's like
All right.
that movie Devil by Shyamalan.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So Tokyo Drift. It was released June 16th, 2006. They like these June releases.
Mm-hmm.
A higher budget of $85 million. I don't know what they were thinking.
I guess because it had to go overseas. Probably plane tickets and such, right?
Yeah. Plane tickets. That's what did it. A box office of 158.5. Pretty modest.
Yeah,
I mean, this could have ended the franchise.
it's true. I mean,
I think it would have. If Vin Diesel never agreed to come back for that fourth one, I think this is it.
Yeah, I think you could be right there. That might
Yeah.
have been the end of it. Yeah, it might have been a trilogy. Yeah.
Thank God for Vin Diesel.
Yeah. I say that every day.
I do.
Yeah.
I say it's
yeah.
part of my prayers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I came in at number 46 at the box office between Underworld Evolution. Is that the second one? I was dragged to see that in theaters, Henry.
Fuck if I know.
I was dating a girl at the time, and it was a bad idea, okay? She was a sorority girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a bad scene, but I thought she was hot, and so we were dating. And we were. I took her to see Match Point.
Okay.
And she didn't really know who Woody Allen was.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
then so she wanted me to see Underworld Evolution. And so I had never seen Underworld, the first one.
Yeah.
And she made me, sit down with her one night, and she smoked cigarettes. I remember she's smoking cigarettes, and we're watching Underworld. And I'm like, what am I doing here? And then I knew it was bad, and I was like, it's not like the second one's gonna be better. And so the next day, she dragged me to see the second one. I had to watch 2 of these in 2 days.
Oh wow.
It was brutal.
I guess you got
And then
out of that
and then I later worked with the writer of Underworld at Marvel.
Really?
Yeah, and he's in the movies too. His name is Kevin Grievous, and he was a really nice guy. But I had to tell him dude, I loved Underworld. Hey.
Oh boy, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
Right.
Yeah.
So Tokyo Drift comes between Underworld Evolution and Nancy Meyers' The Holiday. You might recall Too Fast, Too Furious was right around Something's Gotta Give. I think Fast and Furious at this point had the same amount of fans as Nancy Meyers films.
Did Something's Gotta Give break 300 million at the box office?
I don't know, it was a hit. I don't know about that. But, hey, did you see that new movie by Nancy Meyers' daughter?
What is it?
Nancy Meyers' daughter is a filmmaker now, nepotism. And she
right.
just directed that new Reese Witherspoon movie, Home Again.
Oh Lord, I've seen
Yeah.
previews. I've seen previews for it. Oh God.
Check it out, dude.
Yeah, I won't.
You like Witherspoon.
Ugh. I didn't like Wild.
It was good.
Yes.
I liked Big Little Lies. Is that what that's called? Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the show. I didn't
yeah.
see that still, but you
Alright.
recommended it. Yeah.
All right, so Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift starts in high school. I'm already in.
Yeah.
I love high school.
Yeah, you
movies.
are. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Some very old-looking high school students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lead of this movie is played by Lucas Black, a.k.a. the kid from Sling Blade.
Right.
And he's a good actor.
Yeah, I think he's fine.
Yeah,
Good.
he was in the Fast and the Furious. Fucking Friday Night Lights, the movie.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he's great in that. But he is a very authentic guy.
Right.
And
Right.
that's why he works in movies like Sling Blade and Friday Night Lights, because they're very fly on the wall.
And in a movie I really liked, and I remember seeing in the theater, another, I guess him and Billy Bob Thornton are buds, because he was in All the Pretty Horses.
Oh, that's a piece of shit.
It is not. And he's really good in it, as I recall. And then, whenever they need a Southern dumbbell, they usually go for him, though, because I see he was in Cold Mountain. That's a piece of shit.
That's better than All the Pretty Horses.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
Cold Mountain is a Southern Confederate apologist movie.
Oh,
Fucking
listen to you. Do you think it should be torn down?
Yes, I think copies should be burned. It was although it was helmed by an Englishman, and you know my feeling on that, or maybe you don't. Certain English filmmakers, I don't think they should take on American history. I don't think they.
That's interesting. Like, when else has that gone wrong?
I'd have to think about that now, but it's been a long-standing thing of mine because it almost never works. So for next week, I'll come up with a list. How's that?
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. No, right. For real though, that it doesn't go well, and that was Anthony Minghella.
Yeah,
who is a good
the late
filmmaker.
Anthony Minghella.
Yeah, who is a very good filmmaker.
Was a good filmmaker.
Was a very good filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then they got this kid for that.
The great Anthony Minghella brought us such classics as The #1 Ladies Detective Agency and The English Patient. And
Right,
Cold
right.
Mountain.
The English Patient and The Talented Mr. Ripley. You know, those terrible two movies.
No, look, no. The Talented Mr. Ripley is the only thing he ever did that I liked.
Okay. All right. We could go back to that tearing down things, but we're not going to because we're not political.
All right, no, we're not. I have an email from that guy for later in the podcast.
Oh, all right.
Hey, we didn't do our 2006 lists.
Oh, see, I thought we had done them before, but that's okay.
I'm sure we did. Let's just fucking bang them out real quick.
Okay, give me a sec. I was fully thinking we weren't going to do it, so I didn't. Got to go through them. You can.
Did you think we weren't going to do either one?
Well, because we did them. All right, here it is. Oh, yeah, it's been a while, I guess. This doesn't look that familiar.
All right.
You asked me that in case to get me ready for 2009, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I got them.
All right, 2006. What's your 10?
One of your favorite movies, including one of your favorite actors, Blood Diamond.
Oh, what a terrible piece of shit with a horrible lead performance. Okay, my number 10 is Hollywoodland.
That's a good movie.
Yeah. It's not a great year, 2006. I'll say that.
I was really wanting you to say something I hated, but I'm happy with my list. I don't know about 2006 not being a great year, but
I don't love my list.
Number 9, Casino Royale.
That should be on my list. My number 9 is Notes on a Scandal.
All right. My number 8's another one of your favorites, The Departed.
Oh God, man, maybe that's why I don't like this year. Like all the lauded movies I didn't like. Yeah. Number 8 for me is Terry Zweigoff's Art School Confidential.
I never saw that. Yeah. Number 7, Little Children.
My number 7 is The Descent.
Oh, that should probably be on my list. Yeah. Number 6, Notes on a Scandal.
My number 6 is Borat.
That's also not on my list. I thought that was 2005.
Nope.
Okay. My number 5 is Half Nelson.
I still haven't seen that.
Yeah, I know.
We have done this list. I remember responding to that movie exactly the same.
Yeah, well, that's come up a couple of times, yeah.
Number 5, The Last King of Scotland.
That's my number 4.
My number 4 is Letters from Iwo Jima.
Very good movie, not on my list. My number 3 is United 93.
My number 3 is The Devil and Daniel Johnston.
Oh, yeah, I never saw that.
You should. That's a great movie.
Yeah. My number 2 of 2006 is Apocalypto.
Mine is United 93.
Okay. And my number 1 movie of 2006 is Children of Men.
Yeah, that's why I don't like 2006.
Yeah, you really...
I'm not a Children of Men fan. I hate The Departed. I hate Blood Diamond. All the movies you mentioned, I'm not into.
And you're not into Apocalypto.
Right.
Yeah, you wouldn't fare well. Yeah.
My number 1 is Little Children.
Yeah. Yeah. And I haven't seen 2 of your movies, so
right.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's 2006, and I did find my 2009 list. So.
All right, back to Lucas Black.
Yeah.
Lucas Black is a very authentic young actor. I think he can only be himself. And he has the thickest Southern accent of any actor in history.
Yeah, it's like molasses. Yeah.
It sounds
really
like a
is.
joke.
You mean
He sounds like he sounds like if a really bad actor was doing a Southern accent.
Yeah, it's authentic if that's what you mean by that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really give him shit for it, but
No!
it's interesting.
Yeah. Didn't bother me though.
It's odd to see him as the lead in a big, like, slick franchise movie.
That's true. It was just he's an odd choice. I don't know what I wonder what led them to pick him. It's a strange idea.
Yeah, it's odd that, like, Neil Moritz was like, well, we can't get Paul Walker back for this one. Who do we get?
Right.
The kid from Sling Blade.
Yeah, for sure. You would think that at that time they would have gotten, like, your boy Hartnett or somebody like that.
Yeah, right. Hartnett would be great.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because he could clunk around and drift around and just.
You know what? You know what it sounds like, actually? Lucas Black's accent is James Van Der Beek doing a Southern accent in Varsity Blues. I don't want your life.
I have to take responsibility for my own problems, Dad. Paul.
Yeah. Paul. Yeah.
Paul. Yeah.
So,
right out of Green Acres. Yeah.
It sounds like he belongs in fucking Mayberry, but he's going
Yeah.
to Tokyo. So it's like the first day at a new school, and
The first day.
this guy, this kid was just born to be fast and furious.
Yeah.
All he cares about is driving cars real fast. And so he meets, like, a sexy lady,
Right.
and she already has a boyfriend, played by the older son from Home Improvement.
Wow.
That's right. Zachary Ty Bryan is in this film.
All right.
And they decide they're going to race each other, and she says, winner gets me.
Wow.
And I don't know, I don't like to slut shame, Henry,
Yeah.
but this girl's a tramp.
Yeah. I mean, she's just, or maybe a prostitute. I mean, 'cause would be a better word, because basically it's a wager. And
It is.
Yeah.
She's saying, whoever wins this car race, I will open my vagina to.
right. And so that's more like prostitution, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So they start racing 6 minutes into this film, and we already get, ball with the ball.
Ugh.
All right, Kid Rock.
Oh my God.
This is for the questions that don't have any answers, the midnight glancers and the topless dancers. Get in the pit and try to love someone. Ball with the ball, the bang, diggy, 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 said the boogie, said up, jump the boogie.
Wow. Yeah. Senatorial candidate for Michigan, Kid Rock.
We don't talk about politics on this show.
But we don't talk about politics, but I think they should tear down Kid Rock. Yes.
Look, man, Kid Rock. I mean,
Yeah.
he's so
What a-
bad.
It's a fucking piece of shit.
If we were still doing, if we didn't have our theme song, shout out to Jason Harris, on the show, I would surely have started last week's episode with Rollin' by Limp Bizkit and this week's episode with Ball with the Ball. 100%.
Right.
But,
right.
I mean, it's a horrible song. And you know the show The Shield, Henry?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite shows of all time. And have I ever tried to get you to watch that show?
I think you've told me. I think you've recommended it. You never forced me. Like, you never said you gotta watch this. It was never like up there with like Buffy or something.
That's right. And you know why
Yeah.
that is?
Why's that?
Because there's a really important sequence in the pilot that uses the song Ball with the Ball by Kid Rock.
Oh.
And it's really embarrassing.
Really?
It is, and it'd be so much easier to recommend that show to people if I didn't have to say, like, hey, Ball with the Ball is in the pilot, but ignore it. It's actually a great show. I mean, you don't have to say that shit about Mad Men or Breaking Bad or The Wire.
Right.
Yeah, The Wire's got Tom fucking Waits in the pilot.
Yeah, The Wire's got amazing music.
Or the Blind Boys of Alabama covering Tom Waits.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Wire's got amazing music. I own the soundtrack to that.
There you go.
Yeah. No, whenever you have to qualify something, a movie or a show, for the music, that's real bad. Because that's not even like, well, you don't like found footage, so, the directions might distract you a little bit if you can get through that, But this is like, well, there's a song.
Yeah, you have to say, like, The Shield, it's an incredible show, and there's an amazing twist towards the end of the pilot. But just to let you know, that amazing twist comes while Ball with the Ball is playing heavily in the foreground.
It's a big price to pay.
Yeah.
So they have a good car race, though.
It's a pretty fun car race through, like, I guess, like,
a construction
a
development.
gated community under construction.
Exactly, yeah. And he crashes through, and then they look it over on the tape. I like that moment when he's after it's over. He wins.
Yeah. But he gets arrested.
Right, everyone's a little banged up. And the blonde Aryan couple, they get away because they're wealthy, which is realistic. And he does not. But while they're showing back the tape of him being, I don't know how that was filmed, but
it's the shot from the movie of him.
Right, exactly, right.
The house.
He said, "Could I get a copy of that?"
Let me get a copy of that.
Yeah, because it's cool. I'd want a copy of that too, And then
I have a copy of that. I have a copy of Tokyo Drift.
Right. And then his mother comes in a very uncomfortable sequence where she seems like, in order to let her son go, she will do the cop a sexual favor.
Yeah, she seems to be offering the cop, at the very least, an HJ.
Right.
And, but she sends her son to Tokyo to live with his deadbeat father.
Yeah, right.
And that's the plot of this movie. It's a real weird choice for a third Fast and the Furious.
But I like that they just kind of don't belabor it. They just get it out of the way. It's not some really long exposition. Dad conveniently is in the Navy and conveniently lives, 6,000 miles away. And even more conveniently, he gets sent to a school where on the first fucking day he meets our rapper for this movie.
Well, yeah. Bow Wow.
And finds not only a friend, but someone who knows about Tokyo racing.
I don't understand why there's this Tokyo racing scene, this underground late-night Tokyo racing scene, but everyone that's a part of it seems to be in high school.
Yeah, that's true. Right, except for the Yakuza nephew. Right.
DK.
Yeah, DK. Yeah.
Drift King.
Yeah.
So he's friends with Bow Wow. The character's name is Twinkie.
Yeah.
Twinkie has a pretty baller car that is painted to look like the Incredible Hulk. And and he also is super into this girl.
Yeah, who is Lucas Black is, yes.
Yeah, and right. I'm like way not interested in this character, and she keeps taking up screen time.
Was she your Suki for this movie?
Is that Devon Aoki?
Yeah.
She's worse because she gets way more screen time than Suki did.
Well, no, but I mean, yeah,
she's the female lead of this movie. I did not care for this character or this actress, and I mean,
I thought she was fine.
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, he wants to get involved in street racing, but he doesn't realize that drifting is what's done in Tokyo. Can you explain drifting a little bit to our audience?
I'll try.
Yeah.
From what I gather, not that I don't already know from my own drifting experience, it's when you need to take very sharp turns, and so you alternate applying pressure between the brake and the accelerator, so your car kind of goes in a parallel manner, perpendicular to the place you're trying to go to. So you basically aren't moving forward; you're moving sideways. So essentially, you are driving sideways.
Yeah, like the Amy Mann
the Amy Mann song.
Yeah. Is that song about Tokyo Drift?
It might be. I didn't know. Yeah, so it's a skill.
That would have been a hilarious song to start the episode with.
Driving sideways. Na 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 na. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess, and the funny thing is, I'm sure that drifting is a skill that we have seen in the first two, but it just wasn't paid attention to, or just we, as drivers who don't, or well, Dan's not a driver, but as a vehicle driver myself, it's something I just wasn't paying attention to, but they decided to devote an entire plot to
It's
this.
heavily focused on.
Yeah.
The whole movie is Lucas Black learning how to drift. He's very interested in it. He races this Asian guy. I mean, they're all Japanese in a parking garage.
Yeah, which has many turns. That's why it's an appropriate technique.
So
to
you
learn.
gotta know how to drift.
Right.
And he's racing this kid, and he's known as DK, and it doesn't stand for Donkey Kong. It stands for Drift King. And when Bow Wow tells him that, he responds, "Walt's Drift. Walt's Drift.
Does it mean Donkey Kong?" He actually says that.
Hey, Walt's Drift. Henry?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are you trying? Am I supposed to be Bow Wow for this?
Henry?
Yeah. I'm here, Lucas.
Walt's Drift. Can you tell me what's drift?
It's driving your pickup truck and turning your Confederate flag upside down and then going the other way, Lucas. That's what it is.
Can you teach me drift?
Sure. We'll spend an inordinate amount of time teaching you how to drive sideways.
Can we have a training montage about drifting?
Again.
Yeah. So
they didn't make him chase chickens, though, so that was, and there was no Survivor going on.
That's right. So Han is the guy who Bow Wow gets to train Lucas Black on drifting.
I like this guy, Han.
I do too. I'm happy he's back for other movies.
Yeah, I like him. He like Brad Pitt's character in Ocean's 11 is always seen eating something.
Right.
Yeah, always munching on something. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's always on the go.
Yeah, that's right.
And so Han, he has got like a dark past, and he appears to have entered Tokyo Drift in retreat from the events of Fast and Furious 4 through 6.
Right. Yeah.
But we don't know what those events are yet.
No, we don't. And even though we saw 4, it could be gleaned that it's saying 4 that he leaves then. But since he's back for 5 and 6, I guess he didn't go to Tokyo yet. Even though in 4 he says, "I'm going to Tokyo."
They very clearly write him out in the 4th movie as though like now he's going to the events of Tokyo Drift. But I guess they wanted to use him more in 5 and 6.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
I mean, maybe they'll have him fly back before the events of Tokyo Drift. Maybe he's been in Tokyo, then he comes back, and then he goes back again. I don't know. Like I said, a lot of money spent on airfare on this budget, so.
Sure.
coming
So-
out of Han's pocket.
Eventually, there's a race, and Han dies.
Whoa, you're jumping way ahead. Yeah.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
No, that's fine. The whole movie is Lucas Black trying to get this girl and avoid being killed by this Yakuza nephew, essentially.
Right, and the girl
and
has a pseudo-incest subplot with the Yakuza nephew. Like,
Right.
his family raised her.
'cause
So
her mother
they've been
was a
like step
prostitute.
siblings their whole life. Right, her mother was a prostitute, of course.
And Han is basically like does a lot of shady dealings and has Lucas Black run them for him because he trusts him.
Yeah.
Because trust is more important than the price of a car. And so they become buds, and Bow Wow's in there to yippee-yo, yippee-yay some things. And
What a trio. Han,
Yeah.
Lucas Black, and Bow Wow.
we don't get a lot of the... You could tell there's a different writer, for sure, because we don't get any bra. There's no bra.
No, the
writing
movie's
is
not
I think the writing
straining
is
so
better.
hard. I
No.
agree. I think Chris Morgan can put together a script.
Yeah, there's a little less machismo. Maybe a lot less machismo.
There's plenty more in the fourth one, though.
Right. I think the direction's even better.
The direction's a lot better. Justin Lin, the car chases in this movie are fucking awesome.
They are, and you know, I was reading about, you know, how this is pretty much considered, I guess, the weakest one, and did you read Rob Cohen, what he said about this one?
No, what did he say? The director of
me-
the first one.
Yeah, let me read it to you.
Okay.
Because it's okay. Quote: If you were to just watch Tokyo Drift, you'd say, "I never want to see anything related to Fast and the Furious again." End quote.
That's not true. And I think in hindsight, people like this movie more than they did at the time because now it's a weird outlier. Where at the time it was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Where's Vin Diesel?"
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But I don't, you know. And then he shows up at the end, and it's cool. It's a great cameo. It works.
Yeah, Diesel pops up at the very end. He says that he was family with Han, and
Right.
he's gonna race Lucas Black, and that's the end of the movie. Because at the end of the
But
movie,
it's like
Lucas Black is the new DK.
that's
Drift
right,
King.
because he defeats. He wants to quell this whole thing once and for all. So he goes to meet Sonny Chiba in a
Yeah, he does the real Sonny Chiba.
the real Sonny Chiba. For you martial arts films fans, Tarantino fans.
Yeah.
And he's the Yakuza leader who agrees to settle all the problems and debts by
With
having
one street race.
one street race.
Yeah.
So apparently the Yakuza knows about street racing too.
Yeah. So this
Again-
is DK versus Lucas Black, and they're going to race basically at like Dead Man's Curve or whatever. It's like racing downhill, like through the super curvy thing where there's no railings on the sides of the roads,
Right,
and
from
so you're
This
just
endless
drifting.
mountain. They're like on the top of Mount Fuji.
Right,
And-
it's an
and they just
endless
go-
drift.
Endless drift, and
Yeah.
and Lucas Black wins, and it's a good race.
Real cool.
Yeah,
But
it
it's
is
so
good.
it's real intense because like it's a really dangerous race. Like you basically win this race by murdering the other racer.
That's right. There's stakes. There's that. They're actually racing for something important because it's the Yakuza's involved, which is always a convenient.
Well, we're in Tokyo, so Yakuza
Right.
has to be involved. That happens every time. Like the X-Men go to Tokyo, they have to fight the fucking Yakuza.
Yeah, they're not so secret. But one of the other things I liked about the writing, which was that it did something that you and I often talk about on this show, where a simple line of dialogue eliminates a multitude of questions. Like when Lucas Black and Han are just in the they're just driving down the highway. I can't remember why. They're either running from somebody or makes no difference. The cops, they pass some squad cars, and so Lucas Black looks in the background like, oh shit, they're gonna catch us. And in one line of dialogue, it's all dispelled, where Han says, oh, their radar guns only go up to a certain amount, and when they see that they're above, 200 miles an hour, their cars know that they can't match our cars.
Right.
End of story. So it's like all the,
Yeah, it explains. That's why we're not dealing with cops in this movie.
Exactly.
Cool. Move on.
Done. Yeah. Which is not handled at all in the first two or or in 4 or anything. So, yeah, that was good. No, I dug it, man. I dug it.
Yeah. All right. What do you give this movie?
I like that one because it was a very easy plot. Audience, if you might seem a little like we're passing over some plot points, we're really not. That was really it. I'm giving it 3 stars.
Me too.
Yeah.
Who's your MVP?
That's going to be Han.
Yeah, he's mine too. I loved Han. When Han died in that street race in the middle there.
Yeah.
With the Yakuza chasing them.
Yeah.
I was sad.
Yeah.
Like it felt like a genuine tragic moment.
Yeah, it was like, damn. Yeah.
Like I can't believe they killed Han. And I knew that Han was in other movies too. And so the whole that was shocking to me that they killed him.
It actually was. I didn't think he was going to die. Yeah. Yeah, bro. Yeah, it was shocking. I agree.
Yeah, he's very likable, that guy, Han.
Yeah, he's cool, and I like his line that he has too when Lucas Black has to, he's going after this, he's in love with this girl, and Han says, "Why can't you just go after regular Japanese girls like every other white guy in this country?"
That was a great line.
It was.
Yeah, like every fucking white guy in this country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, in America.
Yeah. Shout out to Isaac from the Crank episode. Okay.
All right.
LVP.
I didn't have one, but I'm open to suggestions.
That girl sucks.
Yeah, she didn't really bother me, but for a while, DK's henchman was getting on my nerves.
Morimoto.
Yeah, he was bothering a little bit.
He's not great.
A little bit one-dimensional, a little bit just a lot of glaring. And
oh, really? Is the villain henchman in Fast and the Furious 3 one-dimensional? Too one-dimensional for you. Interesting.
Well, hey, man, you expect the love interest to be more.
Yeah, well, I do. She's the love interest. First of all, this movie doesn't need a love interest. That's the real problem. Is sometimes movies think they need a love interest, and they don't. Who's going to see this movie for the love subplot?
Yeah, it's true. Or as when we get to 4, there's a love interest that the lead character. Well, we'll get there. All right, I'll go with you then. Fine. She can be my LVP. There's no.
You could go with Kid Rock if you want.
Oh, can I?
Sure.
You know what? I will, because the opening music. The music, first of all, was by Brian Tyler, who we've covered in Iron Man 3, AVPR. He's done Thor 2, Avengers 2.
So all his scores are ding, 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 ding.
Exactly, yeah. But the opening hip-hop song in this movie is by DJ Shadow. So
fuck yeah, and it's awesome.
It is awesome, and so the music is better significantly, except for Kid fucking white trash. So he's my LVP.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, there you go.
I have a superhero count.
Oh, hit me.
I got 3.
All right.
DK,
sure.
Brian T, was in 3 different things. He played a character in The Wolverine.
Okay, well, Japan.
Right, called Noburo Mori. He plays a character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., who I could only guess is related, perhaps, because his name is Toshiro Mori.
Okay.
So maybe he's one of Wolverine's adversaries. I don't know. And then in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the most recent movie.
Yeah, he's the Shredder, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Mom,
DK. What does DK stand for, Henry?
a Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
What is it? Was it really?
Drift King.
Walt's Drave. Walt's Drave.
What's Drive?
I'm sorry. I walked around the day I watched this saying that all day.
What's Drive?
Walt's Drave.
Mom, his mom, played by the actress Linda Boyd,
Okay.
was in a TV made for TV movie called The Crow, Stairway to something I can't read my writing.
That's not a made-for-TV movie. That was a TV series that lasted for a season or two.
Okay. Oh, yes, you're right. I did write that down. Okay. She played a character.
Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway. Is it really called?
Yeah,
Stairway?
yeah. That's what it's called.
All right. Yeah. It looked like I wrote Stairway to Hesern. She played a character called Darla Monk.
Okay.
Or Darla Moore, depending on how you read it. She was also in Smallville, of course.
Oh, she must be Canadian.
She is, I believe, playing Mrs. Baker. And she is in Arrow.
Mrs. Baker, my 10th grade English teacher.
She plays a character in Arrow called Phaedra Nixon.
Okay.
Yeah. And then your boy, Zachary Ty Bryan.
Zachary Ty Bryan, the great Zachary Ty Bryan from Home Improvement.
Played a character named Eric Marsh in Smallville.
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
And now, okay, this is why I got confused. He was in a made-for-TV film of Thor from 2009 called Thor: Hammer of the Gods, playing Thor.
Oh, that's not the Thor superhero. Like that's like the actual Asgardian god Thor.
Yeah, that was hard to differ. It was hard to figure out because I did look it up, and since it said he played the Asgardian god, I figured, well, surely they didn't make a movie, but they did, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. That's bull.
So that doesn't count. But he was in an episode of Buffy. She's kind of a superhero.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm crossing him off for the Thor count, but
Okay.
he was in Smallville.
Oh, yeah, right.
All right. That's that.
All right, so 3 years later, baby. Henry, Fast and Furious. Now, I remember seeing a trailer for this movie. And I didn't care that there was a new Fast and the Furious movie coming out.
Nor did I.
Yeah, I mean, who could possibly?
Right.
But the trailer was mostly a cut down version of the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Oh.
And that's a pretty amazing action sequence.
I agree.
And so I was like, this looks kind of cool. And the audience, I knew this would be a hit, Henry.
Uh-oh.
The audience cheered. That doesn't
Really?
happen at trailers.
They cheered at a trailer after, after the trailer, or like when it was coming up, and they were so excited it was a Fast.
No. I don't think they really understood what it was. They showed the action sequence, and then it said, Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, Jordana Brewster, Michelle Rodriguez, Fast and Furious. The audience lost it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's something. I can't relate to that really, but okay. It is a great sequence. It's the best chase in the whole movie. I'll say that.
Can I say right now, just you set up that you like Tokyo Drift?
Yes.
I fucking loved Fast and Furious.
Really?
I loved it.
Okay.
I'm all in on this franchise now. To me, this was like watching them. Oh, they figured it out. This is what the franchise is. It's great.
Yeah. They certainly figured it out. I agree with that. And it is better than the first two. I didn't like it as much as 3.
That's crazy.
But I did like it.
Okay.
And the fat that was chewed off of the first 2 is gone. And again, the writing and direction were a big part of that for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think it's good.
Justin Lin and Chris Morgan are back as director and writer, respectively. The movie was released not in June. They gave it an April release, trying to distance it a little bit from some other big movies. So April 3rd, 2009, this movie comes out on a budget of $85 million, the same as Tokyo Drift. And
Yeah.
it was only that high because they had to pay some of these actors to come back.
Sure.
And box office of $363.2 million.
Wow.
There's a healthy appetite for Fast and Furious movies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a big hit.
Yeah. It came in at number 17 at the box office for that year.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
Right, yeah, right between G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, and The Proposal, which you'll recall was a big surprise hit that year.
Oh, yeah, that's my girl Sandy B.
That's right, Sandy B and Deadpool himself.
That's right. I just saw a great movie with Ryan Reynolds and Ben Mendelsohn.
Definitely Maybe?
No. By the people who made Half Nelson and Sugar and are working on a Marvel movie, I think. Ryan Fleck and Anna Boden.
Yeah, Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place?
No.
No?
You're getting warmer.
Van Wilder?
Van Wilder. No.
Is it Green Lantern?
All right, bingo. Yeah.
Remember all
You got
these
it.
classic Ryan Reynolds movies? Remember back when America couldn't give a shit about Ryan Reynolds before
I
Deadpool
really do.
came out? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
All right, what is it?
Mississippi Grind.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Came out a couple years ago. Highly recommend to our listeners. Excellent movie with Ben Mendelsohn and Ryan Reynolds. Gambling movie.
Can I
movie.
say something that Ryan Reynolds is in that's underrated that
Sure.
no one ever talks about? And maybe I'm just wrong about it, but I like this movie.
Safe House.
No, the remake of Amityville Horror.
Oh, I didn't see it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah?
I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
I like to hear that when they remake a classic movie and it's actually decent. I mean, I had the misfortune of seeing the remake of Poltergeist, and it was...
Oh, sure. But the thing about Amityville Horror, Henry, if you go back and watch that original movie, I know it's a classic.
Not so good, though.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad that you said that because I actually called it a classic just to be...
Respectful?
polite.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's not a great movie. I don't think it's a bad movie, but from what I remember, and I haven't seen it that many times, I don't think much of it. I'm sure we'll come back to it at some point.
We will. We'll cover it.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of those. Amityville 3D.
Are there?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Amityville Dollhouse. Remember that one?
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got my top 10.
Oh, for 2009. Let's do it.
All right. As I recall, this was not a great... Now, see, this for me was not a great year.
I like my list more. Maybe the year wasn't so... Hey, no, it was a good year. I have 3 honorable mentions on here that I have crossed out.
I have one that I crossed out just that was on my list that probably... since you're doing an honorable mention, I'll throw mine on there. No, I won't.
I wasn't going to say my honorable mentions,
No.
but real quick, they're a Serious Man, District 9, and Where the Wild Things Are.
Okay. Yeah, I have Hurt Locker crossed out on my list.
That didn't make my list.
Yeah. But I would have definitely put District 9 on here. I don't know why that... I didn't give any honorable mentions.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe... All right. Number 10, Star Trek.
Mine is Michael Haneke's The White Ribbon.
I did not like that movie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I remember renting that, and I didn't care for it. Number 9, The Road.
My number 9 is Hump Day, Lynn Shelton's Hump Day.
Right, you love those guys. I still didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 8, Capitalism, A Love Story.
Ah. Mine, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
Mine is Adventureland.
That's your number 8?
Yeah, it should be higher. I love that movie.
That's my number 7.
Oh. My number 7 is Lars von Trier's Antichrist.
I never saw that.
Great
Yeah.
movie.
Number 6, I Love You, Man.
You fucking love that movie. My number 6 is Big Fan.
I don't even know what that is.
It's that movie where Patton Oswalt's obsessed with the New York Giants and gets stalked.
Oh yeah,
Sort of a
I saw.
psychodrama.
I did see that, but not when it came out. I saw it later. Yeah.
Mm.
My number 5 is Moon.
My number 5 is the documentary We Live in Public.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. That's good. Number 4, Where the Wild Things Are.
My number 4 was Moon. I saw Where the Wild Things Are with you, Henry, and you cried.
Yeah, you want to tell it? I don't mind if you tell a little bit.
Yeah, Henry was
I lost
weeping
my
during
shit.
Where the Wild Things Are. Hey,
Completely lost it.
Henry, remember we were in the lobby of the movie theater and
Yeah.
you thought of something from that movie and it made you start crying again?
Yeah, we saw that and it was even worse, right?
It
Because
was
we
in a
saw it
group.
with a group of people.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had my girlfriend with me, and she comforted me. But it didn't matter. I was still crying, like just. I don't know, man. It was crazy. Yeah, it pulled my heartstrings. I was, whoo, yeah. What a nut job.
Yeah, that
I
movie
was
hit you
weep-
hard.
Real hard.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy. Okay. What was your number 4?
Moon.
Okay. My number 3, a movie that actually made me laugh so hard in the theater that I almost urinated in one scene. A Serious Man.
Wow, really?
Yes. There was
Okay.
a scene in that movie that I was laughing so fucking hard I almost pissed. Yeah.
That's amazing. Man,
Yep.
you were having a rough year at the multiplex that year.
Crying and pissing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
My number 3 is Two Lovers.
That is my number 2.
Ah. My number 2 is the severely underrated Judd Apatow film, Funny People.
Great movie. Not on my list. Yeah, I'd have to revisit this year now because there's several of those movies you mentioned. I don't know, but I still like my list, so it'd be hard to change. And I know we have the same number 1.
Man, Glorious Bastards.
Yep, that was what I remember about doing that list was that that was the easiest list.
We all had that at number 1.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that was just no contest. There wasn't even like a discussion for number 1. It was placing everything else that was going to be tough.
Right. No,
Yeah.
Inglourious Bastards is an all-time classic.
Fucking great movie. Yeah.
Okay, Fast and Furious. You see what they did there? They eliminated the thes for the title.
Yeah. Yeah, it was smart, I guess.
It's a little confusing.
Really just very confusing.
It's a hard movie to Google.
Oh my god! I mean, you get the whole franchise, you get the first movie, you get the fourth movie. I mean, and then trying to get these the way we watch them, we watch them in different ways, but I was trying to figure out the fucking order of this shit, and the first 4 were just, it was like, what, at least with Too Fast, Too Furious, you could figure that one out, but
I had trouble finding Fast and Furious to stream, Henry. You got it on Netflix?
no, I got it at the library.
Right. I've been getting these on like Amazon. I've been like renting them for like $2 or whatever.
Oh, I haven't paid a dime yet. Yeah.
But this one I had to purchase.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you don't regret it, I guess.
No, I loved it. I'll watch it again.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So we open in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, and I'm glad it told us that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I do. Mostly in historical movies, when they do, they impugn intelligence to the audience, which is always a mistake. They want you to just kind of know where you are a lot and what year, and if you can figure it out, that's cool. But if you can't, you're in trouble. For a movie like this, yeah, just tell me it's the DR. It's fine. I don't mean the Drift Republic.
Hey, what's great?
Yeah, I set you up there.
Thanks. Fast and Furious. We're opening in the Dominican Republic. We got Dominic Toretto, the great Vin Diesel. And he is robbing oil tankers with the help of his crew. You got Letty, Michelle Rodriguez. You've got Han from Tokyo Drift. You've got these 2 fun, wacky henchmen.
Yeah, who just speak in Spanish to each other.
Yeah.
And don't come back until the end.
Right.
Yeah, they're gone. Yeah.
They're not important. And then so they're robbing this tanker. The tanker guy, the driver, realizes what's happening. And the movie just goes fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Right away.
For sure.
He abandons he jumps out of the truck
with his iguana.
Yes, which is great. The tanker just starts rolling at Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel is letting it happen, and Rodriguez is like, "Drive, motherfucker!" And Diesel's like, "Hang on, buddy." It was like the it was like the driving equivalent of like walking away from an explosion without flinching or something. It's so badass. This whole sequence is just killer. It goes on for like the first 5 minutes of the movie or so, and it's worth the price of admission.
Yeah, and what's interesting is you said she says, drive, motherfucker. But what these movies seem to pull off, which is kind of amazing, and I do think does apply for some of the reasons. It pertains to the box office. They're PG-13, these films. So, not that everyone doesn't sneak into R-rated films anyway, but they make more money because they're PG-13. And the reason they're PG-13 is because there really isn't any swearing. There's no F-bombs. This is the first movie where there actually is a fuck. And it's uttered by Paul Walker, if you note. You might not even have noticed it. But there's no swearing, really. And the violence is really, even though it's pretty nasty implied violence.
It's in cars, though.
Right.
Like, you're not seeing it. It's, I don't know. There's not that much blood because they're not like fighting. There's no weapons. There's not a lot of shooting in these movies. It's all just cars.
And if I was somebody who cared about these movies, like back in the day, I'm sure that would have pissed me off. Like whenever we see, like if it's going to be like, for instance, like if you see like a new Alien movie and you see that it's not rated R, it's like, oh, come on, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna tamp down here? But these movies are able to pull that off. They work without what you'd normally need. And I'm no cinematic moralist. I don't give a shit. Make them violent, make them bloody. I don't care.
I think the Fast and Furious movies are really refreshing because it's a perfectly done summer action franchise with original characters and original stories.
Yeah.
And it's fun for the whole family. And, I mean, think of it. Is there another franchise going on right now, a successful summer franchise, that is not based on pre-existing IP?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, because obviously you're talking about Marvel.
I'm talking about Marvel. I'm talking about DC. I'm talking about Transformers. I'm talking about Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm talking about...
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. That's why I think people like these movies.
Really?
Yeah, and there's a lived-in feel to it now. The cast really does have the kind of chemistry you get on TV shows where they've been working together a long time, and they seem to kind of love each other. Like, right away, the scenes with Dom and Letty, like, it feels like they've been together for 6 years or something.
It does feel that way, but it brings me to a point I had started to bring up in the prior movie, in 3, about the love interest. I think the one imbalance is that we never really... It seems to me... I don't know about you. Maybe not. It seems to me to be a very one-sided romance. Like, she seems... And this is from the get-go. She seems to be really, really into him. Deeply committed, deeply in love.
Well, because she says that she's been, in love with him since she was, 13 or something.
Right. But he never really... she almost seems like kind of a pest to him. He's never really... So when she dies and he's so broken up about it, I mean, it wasn't as convincing, and I don't know if
I think you're crazy that she seems like a pest to him.
he never really even. They don't really have any romantic moments. I mean,
They do in this movie. Early on, they have a few sweet moments, and it's
Really?
and it's only when she really wants to be a part of like super dangerous stuff. And I get the sense that Dom knows that Letty can handle herself in these dangerous situations, but he's an old-fashioned man, and he's worried about his woman's safety.
Yeah.
And I think it's oddly sweet and chivalrous, even though like it's fucked up on like a gender scale. But like I do feel that there's a lived-in relationship there.
Yeah, I don't know. It was her death was kind of. I thought she kind of deserved maybe a little bit more.
Well, I don't disagree, and I maybe that's why she doesn't stay dead. I don't know how that happens, but Michelle Rodriguez is in a lot of these movies. But in this movie, she dies about 10 minutes in and stays dead the whole movie.
Right, and so yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit hard to buy for me, but that gets Dom on his revenge plot, which is good.
Yeah, he's like fucking Charles Bronson in this movie. It's
awesome. Pretty much. Yeah.
So Letty comes back to America while Dom is still out of the country and living on the lam. And Letty's working for this crime boss named Braga.
Yeah.
And we don't know who Braga is. We don't see him. We just see some of his flunkies, and it's intimated that perhaps one of these flunkies is in fact Braga in disguise.
Right.
And she gets killed, and the second Dom hears about it, it brings him back to America and sort of brings the gang back together, because we also have Brian. Yeah. Brian's back. And he's
been rehired.
He's a fucking cop again, which makes no goddamn sense. And he's still like an expert car guy for the police, the FBI, I think. And there's a great scene at Letty's funeral where like Mia is mourning her friend, and then we like cut to like Dom watching from afar, like, ooh, he's here. And then like from somewhere else at the funeral, Brian is watching from afar, and it's like our gang is so close to being back together.
Yeah, it's a big cemetery. Yeah.
But it opens. I mean, we first see Brian again in a fucking cool chase sequence.
What was that again? I have to remember that.
He's like jumping rooftops and shit, chasing after them.
The foot chase.
Yeah.
Yes, I like that a lot. Actually, I actually I could have done with more of that, but we don't get more of that.
Me too. FBI Brian is pretty fun.
Yeah, that was a very cool foot chase, and I love how he gets the guy, like sees him crossing through a window, just crashes through another window, takes him down onto a car. Nobody's injured. It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
all the action sequences in this movie are awesome.
Yeah. Well, with the exception of those tunnel sequences,
those were awesome.
I didn't think they were because they just looked so fake.
Yeah, they used too much CGI. I agree with that.
It was such a great concept, and it reminded me of Temple of Doom. Actually.
I thought of Temple of Doom myself.
Yeah, but it just. It's just so computer generated that it just you couldn't tell any kind of spatial relationships. I don't know. It was didn't work for me. It
still worked for me, man. It was fast and cool.
Well, what that brings me to my other only real big problem with the movie was sort of in wasting of great character actors and casting, which you may agree with. I'm sure you will agree with me at least on one.
John Ortiz.
No, I didn't think he was wasted. I love him.
No, I thought he was well used. Who are you thinking of?
Shea Wiggum.
Oh, well, listen, it's still early. It's 2009. Shea Wiggum wasn't as much a thing.
No.
There's a lot of good character actors in this movie in little roles, but it's sort of like before they like broke out big.
I guess. I mean, it's before Boardwalk Empire, which is what really broke him out. But Shea Wiggum now is so fucking awesome, and he's everywhere. He's one of my favorite actors. He's so good. And then I guess
he doesn't sleep. He's in everything I watch.
Yeah, yeah. he gets his head smashed against a marble wall.
That's baller.
And he doesn't have a concussion or anything. Some of my other favorite aspects.
By the way, that no one ever gets hurt.
Like, not even remotely. Like, when Vin Diesel finds out that Paul Walker was the last person to talk to Letty, and he just beats the shit out of him, and Paul Walker has not so... I think he has, like, a little cut on his nose. And, you know, if Vin Diesel put you on the ground and was beating you senseless, you know, can I get some blood there? Maybe a lost tooth, you know?
Yeah.
Concussion? No, nothing. The other character actor who I think is great, I guess he's not wasted, it's kind of what he does in movies, is the character actor Jack Conroy.
Jack Conley.
Jack Conley, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Jack Conley. I love that guy.
I would have watched a TV crime procedural with the cast of Paul Walker's FBI team.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it was fucking Paul Walker killing it as Brian. You got Jack Conley, who's so good, one of those great voices.
Oh yeah.
As like the leader. And his like sidekicks are Shea Wiggum and Liza Lapira, who's a great actress who's been in loads of TV shows that have gotten canceled after one season.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That FBI room is great. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I liked all those people. But yeah, so basically there's like two plots going on. You got Dom's revenge plot and Paul Walker's plot trying to get this drug lord.
Right.
And of course they collide.
intersect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's also Brian and Mia. That's a love story in this movie. Remember, we commented on where's Mia in the second one, because they seem to be into each other at the end of the movie. But I guess she blames him for being an undercover cop and being a liar.
Right.
And so they haven't seen each other in 5 years, and I think they have a genuinely nice chemistry.
Yeah, well, that I agree with. That I agree with. But they're given scenes to actually talk to each other, so that probably contributes. I did think it was funny, though, right? Like, she's mad at him, but of course he did this, you know, altruistic, well, depending on how you view it, I guess, selfish or altruistic thing by letting her brother go. So, I mean, I wouldn't think you'd be too mad at him. But he was
lying all along.
Yeah, I know, but, you know.
Women, am I right?
Cut the guy some slack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this Campos fella, and he's got a henchman named Phoenix, Fenix.
Who's Campos?
Campos is Ortiz, John Ortiz.
Oh, John Ortiz. Okay. So he turns out to be Braga.
Which actually fooled me. Did you see it coming?
I did see it coming. And
I didn't.
He has the other sort of henchman is Gal Gadot. All right, Wonder Woman.
I was wondering when we were getting to her.
Listen, Wonder Woman's in this movie. Okay, I'd never seen her in anything.
Yeah.
And so here she is in Fast and Furious. And since the movies are so masculine and so testosterone-y, I thought it might have been a better twist to have Gal Gadot turn out to be Braga.
That would have been actually great. That would have been very cool. Yeah.
I think Gal Gadot's really good in this, by the way.
Yeah, she is. You still haven't seen Wonder Woman, right?
No.
No, yeah. Well, she's better in Wonder Woman. But, yeah, she's good.
She's a love interest for Vin Diesel at first in this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And they have some really great scenes where Diesel lays out his philosophy on women.
Yeah.
He says, I want a lady to be 20% angel and 80% devil.
And what is she's like? I am neither of those.
And he says, I know.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. What does that mean, Vin? Does that mean that if she was, that you're already over your dead girlfriend? I mean, come on, man. I was glad he rejected her, because if he would have just gone for that, I would have been
Yeah,
like,
come
oh,
on, you're in the
man.
middle of revenging. You gotta continue that at least first.
Yeah. Let's get the mourning period over with.
Yeah, you don't see the
Right.
Punisher stopping to bone.
Yeah, Frank Castle, not his style.
No. So I realized something about Brian in this movie.
What's that?
This is Brian's motivation. He's obsessed with the Toretto family. He wants Dom. For some reason, he's desperate for Dom to be his best friend.
Yeah.
And he's desperate for Mia to be his lady.
Yeah, I get that strong impression as well. Yes.
And so he just wants to be liked by the Toretto family at any cost. He's willing to break any law. He's willing to ruin his entire life and well-being just so the Toretto family thinks he's cool.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely got a crush on that Italian family. Yeah.
But it works out, man. Brian gives Mia that D on the kitchen counter at one point.
Yeah, which I also had a thought right there, too. I was like, right before that, he was talking to Vin Diesel, like, in the other room.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they retreat to maybe the bedroom or something?
Listen,
right in the kitchen.
His heart belongs to Vin Diesel, and his dick belongs to Jordana Brewster.
I think that's
and
a
that
good
is
way.
this character. That's his entire motivation. He
Right.
loves the Torettos.
Would you say which is 20% and which is 80%?
I think it's 80% Diesel.
That's what I think.
Yeah, he's way more in love with Vin Diesel than he is with Jordana Brewster.
It's what is it, the Seinfeld, the man crush, right?
What is that? What's Seinfeld?
That's the one where Dan Cortez is on, and Jerry and George just want to keep hanging out with him. He's Elaine's boyfriend, and they just want to hang out with him because they have like a man crush on him.
It's more like Keith Hernandez.
Yeah,
The Keith Hernandez episode of Seinfeld.
Right. Oh, I thought of that, but I think the man crush thing was the term used in the
Yeah. I don't remember that episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I
Dan
remember
Cortez.
a Seinfeld episode that you don't.
I know. I'm actually in the middle of rewatching Seinfeld.
Oh, all right. Well, you'll get to it then. Yeah.
Okay. What else we got? So they have to head back to Mexico. Whatever. I'll tell you what. The difference between Fast and Furious and Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. This is a very complicated plot.
Yeah, it's easy to follow though.
No, it's easy to follow, but there's
which
a
I like.
lot of double crosses. There's some globe hopping happening.
Yeah, there is. But I appreciated Chris Morgan's writing in this because it is complicated, but it's not as fucking stupidly convoluted as the second one.
Right. It's complicated, but not convoluted.
Right. It's
Yeah.
well mapped out. Yeah. Yeah.
So at the end of the movie, there is that race through the caves of Mexico.
Right.
And-
The caves we should mention are on the border, so they let you cross through. And
They sneak drugs into the country.
Yeah, under a mountain. Which,
Yeah.
If no one's thought of that already, that's a great idea.
And you have to know where the hole in the mountain is.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah.
And so they're
That's
racing through these real narrow caverns. It's kind of baller, but again, too much CGI. And then Dom commits vehicular homicide, and then and then calls the guy's corpse a pussy.
Yeah. I honestly didn't expect that to be the way that Phoenix died. I
Yeah.
thought we'd get a fist fight or something, or a car race, but it was really like I liked a nice touch that was very subtle that I'm going to give credit to Justin Lin for, which was that Phoenix is about to kill Paul Walker with his gun, about to shoot him, and finally Paul Walker showing some injury.
Well, it's the end of the movie. The stakes could be a little higher.
Yeah, he could have a pierced lung by now.
Yeah.
And he's about to shoot him, and Vin Diesel is bearing up on him, and it's like a split-second shot where Phoenix is about to just simply get out of the way, and the direction shows Paul Walker grabbing his ankle to hold him in place.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. I thought that was great. That was just like such a moment where it was just like Paul Walker's character just like, no you don't, motherfucker. And just he holds him for like a second, and that's enough to get Diesel to crush him. And that was just a great little moment, I thought.
And this is the first movie where Paul Walker is cool.
Yeah, I agree.
He's straining to be cool in those first two movies.
Very, very.
And I think he's got it now.
Well, he's got it now. I agree, and they've dropped that stupid dialogue that they gave him all the time. So the straining is done from. It has ceased. From his end.
I don't think it's necessarily Paul Walker's performance that's gotten better. I think Chris Morgan has a better handle on the Brian character.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, Hank.
I'm giving it 3. I'm giving it 3 stars.
I'm giving it 4.
Oh, I thought you might even go 5.
No 5. Maybe Fast 5. We'll see.
Oh.
But who's your MVP?
John Ortiz. I love that actor.
He's great.
He's great in anything he does.
I always liked John Ortiz. I particularly liked him on the Duplass Brothers HBO show Togetherness.
I didn't see that. I liked him, and he was great in Silver Linings Playbook. He was great in a very minor role in one of my favorite movies ever, Narc, which you've never seen.
Yeah.
He's just always good. Oh, and I see here franchise crossover. He was in AVPR.
Oh, yeah, I remember him in that, and I said nice things about him then, too.
Yeah, there you go.
I think I brought up Togetherness again. But fucking that guy's great. I've always liked him. You know Oscar from The Office?
Yeah.
I've always thought of Oscar as a poor man's John Ortiz.
That's a racist and good call.
No, it's not. I think they have a similar tone.
No, they do. You're right. I'm kidding. Yeah, you're right. He was also in a movie directed by Philip Seymour Hoffman called Jack Goes Boating, which I really liked. And
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's really good, and he plays his best friend in that, and he's great in that. So, John Ortiz.
Yeah.
Great act.
Very good.
My LVP is really just, you sort of invalidated it with good reason, but it's going to stay the same. I'm giving it to the underusage of Shea Wiggum.
Okay.
The Stasiak character. He's just, it's not even, because even the character, even if it wasn't Shea Wiggum, he's set up to be something kind of important, and he really isn't. He just sits off to the side in the rest of the whole movie. He's given like one scene where he's going to be like this primary FBI antagonist, and then all of a sudden he's just not. Just kind of sitting and listening, Who's yours?
Well, my MVP is Justin Lin.
Oh, good call. Yeah.
And my LVP is, I don't know, Phoenix. Maybe Phoenix. I love that guy.
Yeah. Fair enough. I got 4 supers.
Oh, well, one of them will be Shea Wiggum.
No.
Well, you missed him, huh?
What? I hate this. What? What'd I miss?
Shea Wiggum was a regular on Agent Carter.
Was he?
Yes.
Let me see something. Huh. Well, who did he play on that?
He was like the head of the FBI, like her organization. He was a big guy. Or S.H.I.E.L.D., I guess.
Oh, my God. You know what it might have been? You know what that was?
What?
I just didn't even look him up. I think I just forgot to look him up.
Because you know him.
I know him so well, and I must have just missed it. You're right, Agent Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
About 10
I know
episodes or so?
I know what it was. I looked at his movies. I didn't look at his TV work because I don't know why.
Because you're on fucking Wikipedia, and they're not mixed
No,
in.
I actually, you'll be proud of me for Fast and Furious 4. I actually went to IMDb because I had to for one of them. Because I knew this one that I'm going to bring up. But, I'm Roger Dooley in Agent Carter. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Well done, my friend. Well
Thank
done.
you.
And very poor job on me, especially for somebody I admire. Uh, okay, so him, Gal Gadot, and Jack Conley.
Oh,
He's
Gal Gadot, right?
or is Wonder Woman. Jack Conley is on Agent Carter.
There you go. Yeah,
Playing
he was also in Buffy and Angel as different characters.
Oh, all right. He plays in Agent Carter a person named Colonel Ernst Mueller, who I wouldn't know because I don't watch that show.
Mm.
Uh,
I don't remember that character either, and I did watch that show.
Now, here's an actor I thought you might bring up because I thought it just seemed like somebody you would know, but I didn't know him at all, and he's given a ridiculous role. He's the Dwight Mueller character, that blonde, skinny guy who they bust for meth possession.
Yeah, what's the actor?
Greg Sipes.
All right.
Yeah, this guy has been in basically a billion cartoons. So I'm just going to, rather than go through all the cartoons, I'm just going to name the characters he's played. He's a regular Beast Boy.
Changeling, sure.
He plays several Teenage Mutant Ninja cartoons. He plays Michelangelo, which I can kind of see because he's got that dude thing going on.
Sure.
And in a cartoon of the Ultimate Spider-Man, he plays the Iron Fist.
Okay.
And he'd probably be better than the guy they have now. So.
Oh, look at you. Them's fighting words.
Nah, I don't care. Everyone hates that fucking guy. Yeah.
Nah, he does suck. I watched The Defenders.
Yeah. But my one I'm proud of, to counteract my terrible miss of Shea Wiggum, the one I'm proud of is somebody that was not listed on Wikipedia, and that's somebody that I caught and then looked up, was a very good actress named Monique Gabriella Kernan.
Okay.
And this movie, she plays an FBI agent, and she's only in it for a few seconds, but I remembered her from two movies specifically. She is one of the corrupt cops in The Dark Knight, whom Commissioner Gordon trusts, but she is on the take. Do you remember the Latina? You don't remember The Dark Knight very well.
Not really.
I know that already. Yeah, she plays Detective Ramirez in that. So she was in The Dark Knight. So I caught that on my own. She's also the female lead in Half Nelson. So she's a very good actress. She's not given anything to do really in this movie, but superhero extraordinaire, Dark Knight.
Okay. Is that it?
All I got.
All right. Come back next week, gang. We're covering Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6. So we are reopening this franchise to Tyrese.
Oh, really? I didn't look at it.
Tyrese is back. Ludacris is back. Vince is back from the first one.
Right, he didn't die.
No. The Rock making his first appearance.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
So get fucking pumped. Gal Gadot's back, too. I don't know how, but...
Well, we never seem to know how. That's the beauty of these movies.
I agree. That is the beauty. Han is back, even though he went back to Tokyo in this movie to die.
Yeah.
Presumably. But yeah, that's great stuff.
We're halfway through. Yeah.
I know, and I'm bummed already. I want more.
I'm good with 8.
There's going to be 10. Did you know that? They announced that.
I did.
They're wrapping up after 10, but there's going to be spin-offs.
Oh, wow.
Right now, what?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, right now they're planning a spin-off starring The Rock and Jason Statham, but we have not met either of those characters yet, so I have no opinion on it.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. All right.
I want to shout out my friend Gallagher, who wrote an essay around the time Fast and Furious came out, the fourth one, called Metallic Pornography. And I remember reading it at the time and loving it, and now it's even funnier because having seen the movie. And it's just such a crazy essay. It's all about fetishistic scopophilia as the disavowal of castration by the substitution of a fetish object.
Oh my God.
It's fucking crazy. And so it's all about like the cars in these movies sort of like taking the place of like the body of the action heroes of the 80s and shit. It's really fascinating.
It sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Now,
shout out
having
to-
seen all of this, is your opinion not on the writing but on his take? Is it verified or is
Yeah,
it?
no, I think he nails it, and he
He's-
clearly
yeah.
has affection for these movies. Like, he's
Oh,
not talking
okay.
shit. Yeah.
It sounded like that was definitely like. It sounds like it was written in vitriol. So-
Well, no, I think it's more like taking a sideways glance at something he
Yeah.
likes. Yeah.
So a drift opinion, if you will.
What's Dream?
Yeah. It's writing an essay about the modern castration of the male superhero.
Okay.
What?
What's Dream?